Hola amigas y amigos de la audiofilia. Espero que hayan comenzado el año de una manera espectacular y que hayan conseguido todos esos juguetes audiófilos que estaban esperando. Hoy les traigo la parte 2 de la entrevista que le hiciera al maestro Simon Rattle. Le agradezco mucho a esos suscribientes nuevos porque eso me motiva a hacer más videos. Aunque no dispongo del tiempo para tener un super canal, pero yo lo disfruto y les tengo unas cosas muy interesantes. Tengo más entrevistas, tengo muy buenas ideas, ya tengo material que he preparado, pero poco a poco con el tiempo lo iré sacando. Así que les deseo un gran año audiófilo a todos y espero que estén disfrutando de su música favorita, música que le pare los pelos. Hasta pronto.
Oh, do you know, I never knew, I knew some of the record labels. I remember RCA, I remember HMV, Supraphon. I mean, the things I could afford to buy. The actual equipment he played on, no. I can remember exactly what it looked like, but it never occurred to me to know what it was called. Of course. No, I mean, I remember buying the Respighi records, Pines of Rome, um, and the Fountains of Rome and the Heldenleben. Yeah, because somehow this was early '60s. This was already a big, yeah, late '50s. Yeah, look, I was born '55, and I was in the early '60s. I was listening to these things. He would bring me back things. I remember he brought me back Leinsdorf and the Boston Symphony playing Mahler 5 with the Wozzeck fragments on the other side. It was the only recording you could get of Wozzeck in this time.
Maestro, you have been one of the few conductors, if not the only one, at the forefront of the LP vinyl revival. And specifically, I find worth mentioning your direct-to-disc Brahms cycle with the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. What do you think of it in hindsight?
Well, looking back, I mean, it was a really fascinating experiment. And the idea came from the orchestra, as ever. I don't think if, as a conductor, I'd said to them, we are going to go direct to disc, they would have accepted it. But the fact that it came from the players and they said, we are willing to try this. So we were playing a Brahms cycle and they said, look, we can go direct to disc, but it's important to know that there will be one general rehearsal recorded and two concerts only. It'll be done with two microphones right over the orchestra and absolutely direct to disc. And I must say, it really concentrated the mind. Because even with the Berlin Philharmonic, who can be a tad arrogant, as you can imagine, the amount of concentration knowing that actually we have to do an entire take of this music. If a horn player cracks a note, if the violins don't play together, we won't be able to use any of that take. And the concentration was extraordinary. And I have to say, we did quite a lot of recordings there, and not all of them I could feel proud of. But when I listened to this, I thought, yes, this is exactly what the orchestra sounds like. We are not glamorized. Oh no, if the oboe plays a bit quieter than he should, he's not being bumped up with a microphone. This is exactly how we sound. And I thought it was more honest. And I thought actually we got much closer to Brahms than we did when we recorded the cycle with the normal kind of retakes and all those things. And the actual thing of knowing it is two microphones. So we are actually speaking to the hall. We're not speaking to something that's close. And I'm sure if we have the nerves for it, because it was nerve-wracking, this is something that will come back.
As someone with such an incredible career and such a long career, when you think of your legacy, is sound quality important to you?
Oh, I mean, I think it's interesting because as a musician growing up, I used recordings for information. of what music sounded like, rather than saying, oh, this is something which is superior to live. I'm still quite an analog person, and I do believe, like a lot of the best things in life, you should do it live. My teenage kids are having a lot of their romantic life over computers. I'd rather do it actually with live people. And actually, it's the same with music. Given the choice, I would like to be in a concert hall. I'd like to be hearing the music come out as it is. On the other hand, late at night with a glass of wine, a Bach cello suite, what can be better? There are places for all these things.
And some of these are also historical documents.
Of course.
Of musicians and performances that will never come back.
I tend to listen more for what's inside, for what it means, than what it sounds like. But yet, of course, I go to people's houses with this astonishing equipment, and I listen to it with enormous pleasure. But I tend to be listening in a more archaeological sense than in a practical sense. And of course, as a conductor, you stand in front of the orchestra and the music comes to you in an entirely different way. At its best, you are having a communication with an orchestra, with a group of people that is very unusual. And we may not even know each other's names, or let alone our children and our families, but often we know something very deep about each other without speaking because we're playing music.
The British have a long history of cross-pollination between musicians, engineers, and audio equipment designers. For example, Raymond Cook of the Ket Speaker Company was married to the daughter of Leon Goossens, the famous oboist. Have you crossed paths with some of these British audio manufacturers during your career?
I've met people. It was never really my area. I'm fascinated when I do it, fascinated when I'm in the middle of it. But like many musicians, I don't normally listen to classical music at home, for instance. If I'm much more likely to be going onto Netflix and watching Westworld. Or if we're at home with a glass of wine, we'll listen to jazz, or even better, we'll go to a jazz club. So this is not my thing, and my brain is so endlessly full of music that I don't need it from outside in a way I would need rescuing from this eternal soundtrack that's going on there.